Oh, I forgot to turn on the damn microphone. One of these days, I'll do it right. I always turn on the mic. Forgot. What's up, y'all? What am I building? I was wondering the same. What are we building today? What's up, Cam? What's up, Fragile Reefer? I don't think we're building anything today. I think it's mostly... I think we're going to talk about stupid mistakes. So, I'm kind of good at stupid mistakes. What's up, Lynn? And I think I'm going to draw out a quick explanation of how I'm moving around water in my system. What's up, Davis? And we'll do that on the iPad because I think we can make that happen. So if I do a little drawing right here. See? I think we can pull that one off. That's what I think we're going to do. Man, we got Bert on. We got John. Thomas. I hope everybody is having... Is that fan too loud? I hope not. I'm sorry. It looks like maybe it is. Yeah, there's a little bit of background noise there. I apologize for that. I hope everybody is doing well. It's been a banner week. Yeah, week and a half. It's kind of sucked out loud, right? I mean, that's... I challenge everybody not to forget. That's what we're really good at. We're like, damn, that sucked. Let's move on to something new. Let's talk about something else dumb. Let's forget about important stuff that we shouldn't forget. So I challenge everybody not to forget. You know what I'm talking about. And stay at home. Damn it. Ain't time yet. Numbers look bad. All right, that's enough. Bert loves his OR3, brother. I'm jealous. Because although I'm going to make one, you have the legit one, and those things are made beautifully. Still the nicest made, period. Nicest made bar I've bought. Ain't nicer. So, I'll just get to it. What are we forgetting? Oh, Lynn, you're a mess. Don't forget. I know you're messing with me. So, I work in Baltimore. And Baltimore is a little bit of a drive for me. It's not that bad. It's reasonable. So I'm at work Friday. I think it was Friday. And internet goes out. I know internet goes out because I have cameras. And it's super handy to have, right? Have cameras. Cameras normally tell me if I'm going to have a power outage. But I have cameras in the house. And the cameras notified me that they were no longer connected. And a couple other things notified me they were no longer connected. Then I got a phone call. Yo, we're no longer connected. I'm like, damn it. Go downstairs with the FaceTime on. Hold that close, Bert. Don't look at them cross-eyed. Don't make eye contact. They're growing faster because that light is nice. But anyway. Go downstairs. I get the FaceTime walk around in a house with no Wi-Fi and spotty connection. So it's super hard to tell what's going on. The frag tank overflow. Something happened and it clogged up a little bit. I'm like, ooh, and I'll draw that in a minute and I'll explain why that's difficult to manage. So we're able to we're able to manage that one. I was enough. We were able to. Oh, I forgot to turn on the light. That's like a lot of dimple right now in your face. Yeah, that's a little better. I was looking a little red. So we were able to get through that well enough for me to jump in my car and haul ass home. Now, the benefit of this here quarantine business, not quarantine, whatever, all the stay-at-home stuff, is that the roads are relatively empty. And it's a little fast and furious out there, just a smidgen. So made it back in good time. Real good time. Not bad for midday. I've done it in the middle of the night. Not bad for midday. Got home, sure enough, something was a little screwed up, and I needed to come up with a better solution. So I guess I could just, let me draw it. Want to draw it? Bam! That's still fancy, ain't it? Let's see if we can make this work. This here is the display. This is the sump. This is the frag. This shit is the scale. This is the refuge. Well, I was going to put F for fuge, but that's not going to work because we already have an F. So the way all this works is I have a return pump here, and it does this. And right, super simple. Now what y'all don't know, or you may know, is I have a hang on the back overflow, and it comes down into the sump. Okay, super sophisticated. Not hang on the back overflow, crappy system, and it works. You don't have to spend a lot of money. But anyway, in here in the return section is one of those Neptune PMUPs. PMUP. What up, Jake? 420 and 440 LEDs came in. Bruh, I'm waiting for my 440s. I mean, I'm my 420s. I'm waiting on those. Oh, I'm looking forward to hearing how you do with that, because that's what I want to do. Oh, maybe I'll wait on you. You tell me how it goes. I'm sure you will. What's up, Thomas? Need some glass drilling bits. No. I'm not drilling that tank, because you know it would break. I'm going to leave that alone. So down here is a PMUP. Okay. That thing does this. Wait, which way do I want to go? I want to go this way. That pumps all the way up to the fuge. The fuge has an overflow, PVC overflow, into the frag tank. Catching this? This is pretty fancy, ain't it? The frag tank has a PVC overflow back to the sump. It actually returns over here, but you get the point. So that's how my system is set up. 2 issues with that. Well, 3, because this is stupid. Don't do it my way. By the way, I'm drinking white. And you know what, Thomas, I have an overflow from somebody. I can't remember who. Who made Moki's sump? The first sump that he didn't use. I got an overflow from them that I never installed, but I should have. Yeah, cool. Jake, if you're bailing, thanks, man. I really appreciate it. Same to you. We're all good. All is well. Thank you so much. So let's go to. Man, I don't know how to do this. Here we go. Right, chum. This right here and this right here. That's super sketch. I would like to commend the PMUP. It's cheesy. It looks cheesy. The plastic is cheesy. But man, that little pump's got some lift to it. That's the only pump I found that can push through 3/8. I think it's 3/8 inch tubing all the way up to, well, it was 3/8, all the way up to the refugium. Remember, up there at the fuge, that is some blue lit. Oh, it's not going to let me. There. That's some blue lit Reef Bright, one of which is repaired, back together, over top of the fuge. Brand new 450 nanometer, 440 nanometer royal blues, and it works like a champ. Right on, Jake. Bert, which part's crazy? All this or that? I'm pointing to my iPad. Don't do it. So let's go back to black. The issue I have is, like I just said, this overflow up there on the refugium and this over here on the frag tank. If either one of those gets clogged or stops the siphon, or, I'm with you, Bert, I totally agree. If anything happens at all, other than this pump turning off, then I'm screwed. I was always potentially screwed, and I always knew it was there, and I kept a pretty good eye on those overflows. And oh, stop it, Lynn. You have. That's like picking one bar light over another bar light because it's better. So, the frag tank's overflow. Something happened and that tank filled up. But it wasn't totally clogged, so only a little bit of water came out, and it was just enough water to trip the power strip or whatever that the FiOS router was attached to. Killed the internet. So that's all it was. I was able to get the internet back up, no issues. I was able to get water flowing like I was supposed to. Lynn's trolling me. And everything was back in order. But I learned from my lessons. Knowing is half the battle. 2, like learning from your mistakes, right? You know what your mistake is, but if you don't learn from it, you're just dumbass. That's the middle finger. That's if you don't learn from your mistakes. So I had to do something, right? If I didn't do anything at all, then it's just going to happen again, no matter how hard I try. So what I wanted to do, what I first tried, actually, we'll go back to this one. What I first tried to do was use the e-coral, because I have two level sensors, and they're ultrasonic somehow, and they mostly work. And I wanted to use that, but I wanted to use if this sensor or this sensor trips high, then I want to shut off the pump. Nope, couldn't figure out how to do it. Asked for help, couldn't figure out how to do it. So asked for help in the GHL Facebook group, because what I have and what I installed is we're gonna go red here. What I have is an optical level sensor here and a floaty level sensor up in that refugium. So those two connected to the GHL P4 give me exactly what I wanted. Which means if this one trips high, if this optical sensor senses high water, it not only turns off, this is the power bar. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It turns off switch 4, which is for this pump. So this trips, that turns off, that pump stops pumping water. And these two just figure it out. There's a power head in here, there's a couple power heads in here, and they just keep doing that without exchanging water with this. If this trips, same damn thing. GHL turns everything off, no more water on the floor. I had originally received this sensor up here to do some ATO. And then I got this sensor here when I bought the used Doser 2.1. Dude just gave me that. He's like, here. Now I'm good. Now my water isn't going to go on my floor. Now my internet isn't going to trip. And now my work at home people aren't going to be, yo, something's up. And I got to drive home from Baltimore. I think I'm good to go. So I didn't know how to program. I should probably show you a picture, but I didn't know how to program the. We'll worry about that later. I didn't know how to program the ProfiLux 4 to do that, but the ProfiLux 4 has programmable logic, and it's not code, it's words. So I select, in programmable logic, you create a programmable logic line, and you pick this sensor and this sensor, and then you associate that programmable logic line. Instead of picking one of these two sensors, you pick the PL line, and you associate that with disabling the pump, and it's super easy. And one question, one answer, one solution, and it worked perfectly. So I'm super happy with that. Now I can see, I went on vacation, I went to freaking Europe, I went all over the place with that set up that way, and it could have happened. Now it's not going to happen. It also resets itself, so that's what's cool. I think that's kind of cool. Not only do I get an alarm, but if the alarm condition resolves itself, like my water level drops because whatever happened has gone away, it takes care of itself. It resolves itself. It clears itself. It says, all right, we're good. We're back in, and then the pump will start back up. I think that's pretty cool. We'll call that dumbass proof. Dumbass reefer proof. And I feel pretty good about that. So all that's going to do is accelerate what's already attached to the GHL is my heater and my fan. Which leads me to the second thing. And I still smell like twice-baked butthole. So, I have a heater attached, obviously, to the ProfiLux 4. And it does a great job. The P4 is doing all of the heater control, and that thing's working perfectly. And I used to have a chiller, and the chiller was attached to the E-coil, and that worked. But I wanted to see if I could get away with no chiller. We're never really safe. Man, don't be a buzzkill, Bert. I agree with you. But don't be a buzzkill, bruh. So, I wanted to get rid of the chiller. So I bought this 200 millimeter fan, Cooler Master. It glows blue. It's pretty slick. It doesn't need to glow blue, but it's kind of slick. I have that installed on the way, way back of the frag tank. So it blows across the whole face of that 40-gallon breeder. And the P4 controls that. So that was also super simple to set. So I set the outlet to heater, and my temperature was already set, so it just automatically worked. And I set the other outlet to cooler, and the fan automatically turns on all by itself. That's all I had to do. And the fan has been working. So that tank used to get really warm, and now I don't need to use the chiller because the temperature has been rock solid. I have a hysteresis of maybe 0.25, so I'm getting a total 0.5 swing, plus or minus 0.25, and it's rock solid. So I'm going to leave it. And we've had some pretty warm temperatures here, so I think I'm just going to let it go. Pretty excited about that. But I pulled the chiller. Now, I have had phosphate issues for a really long time. And I've been microdosing, y'all probably know this, lanthanum chloride, and it's just tiny little dose each day was holding it perfect. I could control phosphates. I could just leave it at like 0.05, and it would just stay there because I had the dosing dialed in. Until I tested yesterday, and I had big fat 0 phosphate. So I changed two things recently. I pulled the chiller. The chiller was off the tank. It was still sitting next to the tank, but the pump wasn't running anymore, and the hoses were out of the tank. It wasn't moving water through. And I started dosing wormwood tea as a recommendation to address. See, there you go, Thomas. Let me know. That'll be interesting. Yeah, dude, and I'm super excited to test that light, but whatever. And I started dosing wormwood tea to address the acropora eating flatworms, which has been successful, by the way. Well, dosing. I haven't killed anything with it. I'm hoping for good things because that treatment comes highly recommended. The problem with that is that I changed two things. I pulled the chiller and I started dosing something different. So I have no idea which one of those two, unless Thomas come back and give me some good news that his phosphates are okay, then I'll know it was the chiller. So I took the chiller outside today. And I put a little pump in a bucket and I hooked up a couple hoses so I could flow through that chiller and clean it out and give it a good acid bath and give it a bleachy bath. Because it stinks. Something was living up in there. There was some bacteria in there. I don't know how to flush that thing out. I'm going to have to hook it up to a hose, try to get some pressure in there without blowing it apart. Because there's really no good way. There's no way to clean a chiller. Just keep that in mind. If you're going to run a chiller, ain't no way to clean it. So if you're running that through like an unfiltered water source, which you probably are, no way to clean that thing out later. So if you got starfish or something living down in there, or whatever, who knows what was living in there? Probably not starfish. That shit's there forever, and it's gonna smell, and it smells bad. It smells like dead things. So it's downstairs, outside, flowing. Hopefully that'll work. 2 lessons. I trusted my phosphate. I trusted my phosphate method. And because I changed 2 things, one of those or both, jacked up my method. So now I'm starting back over. So now I'm actually dosing phosphates, which I haven't had to do. So I don't know if I'm going to reallocate the doser for lanthanum chloride over to phosphate. I think I'm gonna chill for a few weeks and see what phosphate actually does. See if I can control it. What's up, Derby City? And yeah, I'll probably continue. I don't know. I might start auto dosing just because it makes it so much easier. I'm gonna keep up with the wormwood tea. I think I'm probably gonna dose that forever now because I don't like bugs. If I'm gonna give people frags or sell people frags dirt cheap, they don't need bugs. So I'm going to keep that going. I'm going to dip before I get rid of some corals, before I send them out, before I give them away or whatever. But I don't know how I got them. That's the bummer part because I'm a dipper. I make sure anything coming in gets dipped and shook and inspected and whatever. And I missed something. My old man eyes didn't catch the eggs or something. And those little suckers got in my tank. So still all good, no issues. The Mastertronic. K-Dub, you're talking about the Mastertronic. I'm interested in seeing how that... they've been teasing it Actually, they teased it a whole lot, but then they went quiet, so they must be getting close. Don't know. What is yeah, so I'm looking forward to it. Actually, Moki did his Alkatronic video, and he was talking about the Mastertronic, and I'm looking forward to seeing more information on that. No kidding. Because you all know I'm a GHL lover. That P4, 2 dosers, that thing is, everything else anything GHL I've ever seen is freaking awesome. But you also know I have an E-Coral and 2 Neptune Apex. So, that's kind of how I roll. I really like to, I'm going to quit waving my wand around. I like learning. I like using this equipment. I like understanding how it all works and how it compares and what are the options out there. And I think the Mastertronic's a cool device. Also looking forward to the Ion Director. I think that's going to be sweet too. And I also super respect GHL for pulling back and saying, yo, it ain't perfect, so we're not going to sell it. So hold up, and we'll see you in the fall. I respect that. That's the right move. Don't sell. Yeah, I mean, sometimes it happens, right? Companies sell equipment. It ain't baked. It's an alpha or a beta. So I respect GHL for pulling back and saying, nope, we'll sell it to you when it's right. Till then, just hold out. Hello, mother. Small yellow chorus or 6-line. Yeah, Bert, so I have a 6-line in the display, which is why it's apparently not a problem in the display. That thing is evil, and it'll kill anything I put in the display new, and it eats everything. It hunts all day long. So I totally agree with you. What I don't want to do is, because I'm super chicken and I don't have a quarantine tank set up, I don't want to introduce a new fish. If I had a quarantine tank, if I hadn't thrown out that 20 long that I had as like just a junk kludged frag tank, then I would totally set up a quarantine tank and go get a wrasse. But I don't have that. I could probably order a pre-quarantined fish, which I am absolutely not against, but I don't know. I haven't done it. 6-line. I have a little 6-line. It's always been kind of little, but man, you put something new in the tank, on like Donkey Kong. That thing is going to it's evil. You're right. All right. Derby City, I am interested in Moki's experience with the Alkatronic. Right? Devin's been running. He probably has 2 of those things. He's been running an Alkatronic for years. Jay at Ecotech, he has one hanging off his tank. Those are the ones I've seen. Well, I haven't seen Devin's, but those are the ones I know of. And those things seem to work really well. So, yeah, I'm really interested in Moki's experience. I think that's pretty cool. Best DIY for T5, in my opinion. Derby City, the best DIY for T5 is the AliExpress 470 bar. You get 90% of the benefit of that T5. I'm making that number up, but I know that light, and I know T5. I see no reason to have the T5 if I have options out there like that AliExpress $50 light. So that's probably not the answer you're looking for, but I bought the bulk reef supply DIY twin tube T5 kit. Nope. Whatever, it's T5. You got to put it too low in the tank. So if you're running, I don't get the whole hybrid thing because, I mean, other than it does reduce some shadowing, but you have an LED mounted at its normal height, and then you add some T5s to it, which is too high for a T5, so it just doesn't make sense to me. I am a 3-minute countdown. Thomas, dude, that Hannah pisses me off because I always forget what I'm doing, and then 16 minutes goes by and the damn thing's timed out, and then I got to do it all over again, but I'm old. So yeah, I am just not I'm just I don't, for me, T5, I'm done. I don't need it. There's too many good options out there to go there, and why pay, although I do like an Orphic, why pay $160 when you could buy 3 AliExpress lights for the same price? K-Dub, I have that fan Tidal Garden fixture in my garage, and it's hanging on my wall. I used it, have it, done with it, put it away. Note that Than, all his lights are now Radions. There's a reason. But yeah, I have that exact fixture that he talks about. And you got to put it really, really low, and I don't like that. So, totally recommend it. Do it. Learn. See what you think. See what you like. You're going to end up hanging some LEDs off that thing just to add any kind of par. Well, add any kind of pop and a hint of par. Yeah, I mean, one AliExpress bar is $50. It's a pretty decent deal. Thomas, you done what in one session? Thomas has one of those bar lights. I'm playing in 10 inches above the water with Than's T5 fixture, 4 bulb, 24 inch. Too high. See, there you go. Troy's got it. OR3, most beautiful bar that I've bought. Well, OR2, but the OR3 looks exactly the same. It is a really nice looking light, and it has a 410 to like 490 nanometer range. Has a really wide range. But if you're just looking for a supplemental light and you don't want to spend a lot of money, right? Everybody has a budget. And if you want something really fancy that looks awesome, Orphic. All day long. If you just want a light that works, $50, AliExpress. 2 of the T5s and put in LED bars in its place. The fixture will hide all the clutter. Yep, Jake, totally agree. I think that'd be a sweet move. I think you would end up needing 4 AliExpress bulbs or lights, bars, and then you would just get rid of all that T5 business. And you just stick the bars up in there, run a single power wire. Could you do that? You could. You would just have to get a different power supply. That would be pretty sweet. Then you could probably dim that too if you have a controller. Hey Thomas, are we killing our phosphates with wormwood tea? That'd suck. I dumped in 150 milliliters of Brightwell phosphate just to get it to register 0.02. I'm going to do a 24-hour drop, so I think I'll probably drop another 100 milliliters in tonight. And 4 bulb T5 with 2 blue Reef Bright HXO on both sides over a 4-foot tank. What do you think? Bill Ray, so if you have your 4 bulb T5 on the deck, right, pretty low with 2 Reef Brights, that's a good combination. I mean, that's typically what people run. You'd get more par with the AliExpress lights. But everybody likes a 450, 470 nanometer, or 440 or 480 nanometer, whatever it is, of the Reef Brights. And that's a flood. It distributes the light evenly, much like a T5. So that's why people like that combination. I have my personal opinions on prices. I think the Reef Bright is super overpriced for what it is. I think the Orphic is overpriced for what it is, but it's way better made. And I think the AliExpress light is priced perfectly for what it is and how it's made, because it's really well made. And it's a single spectrum light. It's 470 nanometer. And I think bar lights should not be more than $100. That's my take. I think the AliExpress should be $50 because you're dealing with whatever you got to deal with. I think the Reef Bright should be $85, $90 because you're still making a kick-ass margin at that price with that light, the 24-inch. And the Orphic could go $120 just because it's the way better made light. It's better than both the Reef Bright and the AliExpress. I mean, it's really nice with a glass lens. It looks nice. But those are my personal opinions. So, Bill Ray, you're good. That's a good combination. That's the combination that Mighty Nanotank is running. And he loves the way that thing looks, and that's really good color, and you'll be totally successful with that combination. I'm not a bulb changer. Just not my thing. I'll let you know, Thomas. I'll dump in a 1/4 cup of wormwood tea a day. You're doing a 1/4 cup of worm. I have it on a doser. I have it on a Chemorex 1. And I think I'm dosing 8 milliliters a day. I think that's right. Jake, Fisher Hex's NO3 and PO4 supplements. I have not tried them, but Travis is no joke. And without using them, I would absolutely recommend them because I think he does a good job. I think I think the information he provides is super direct and super simple. And if you follow his method, you'll absolutely be successful. And anybody who wants to provide that level of information and support the community as long as he has been in his very specific way, which I kind of like, absolutely worth supporting. Plus, Combat Vet, cheers. And he's putting out good product. I bet he's having a hell of a time keeping up. He's going to need somebody. But I'd do it. The only reason I'm sticking with Brightwell is because I don't know the concentration difference between the two. I could probably ask Travis, and he'd tell me. But I'm just sticking with what I've used. But Travis is cheaper, I think. So that's worth looking at. But Brightwell is, it's a big name. So I'm banking on consistency and the same mix every time. That kind of thing. Kind of how I feel about salt. Fisher Hex. So yeah, totally. Travis is a good dude. He's helping out. I'd support him. I have. I bought coral from him. Let's see. I gotta run, but later, Bert. That's very kind. Thank you, sir. Hopefully you see this later. Is it Mariana? I think I said Mariana. Hopefully I got that right. I posted the wormwood treatment on WAMAS. No one responded. I doubt anyone will admit they have it. You know, that's a thing. Everybody, I don't care who you are. You could be as clean as you possibly can be, but the opportunity for you to have bugs in your reef tank, like me, is really high. I have Aptasia, and I have acropora eating flatworms. And the best I can do is keep them at bay and keep track. And I like fresh cut corals because the opportunity to transfer those buggers to somebody else is super minimum. And really, I think encrusting and healed, I think that's overrated, but that's just me. Yeah, I appreciate that, Lynn. I appreciate you being cool about it too, because I cut, fresh cut. What did I? It was a cherry bomb, right? I fresh cut a cherry bomb for Lynn, and then a friend of hers, Bryce, said, "Yo, brah, is dirty." I'm like, "Oh no," and then he told me how to take care of it, which I really appreciate. And then I told Lynn. She's like, "I think we're looking good. We're all good." And then she started some treatment too. So I did not see your post, Lynn. I'll poke around. I'll go take a look. Would you do all 4 LED bars in my T5 fixture? Should all be 470, or should I do 2 50/50s and 2 470s? So the alley lights, I think they're only 470s. If you're down for some DIY, I haven't done it yet, but I'm going to once the LEDs arrive. They should be really easy to modify, just like I did with the Reef Bright when I reloaded that thing with fresh diodes. So you could make a Reef Bright. No, you could make an AliExpress. Here's some fun. Ready? You can take a $50 AliExpress light and for $10 in diodes, turn it into a freaking Orphic. If you got a little DIY in you at all, you could buy 3 modified AliExpress lights for the cost of an Orphic. And Reef Bright. And have better par. And maybe a little nicer made. K-Dub, if you go back, if you go look at one of my other lives, it's called Boxes and Booze 06. It's linked in the description. And give a brother a like while you're over there, please. A lot of those have been selling. You can see how many they've sold on AliExpress. I have 2 of them. So I can't remember who it was because I need to give some credit. Somebody hit me up because they got one, and they said you could clobber the hell out of a tennis ball with this thing and it would keep working. It is that well made. It's a very solid light. I was impressed when I took it apart. I think I did that live too, didn't I? I think I did. Yeah, I think you're okay, Lynn. Those are fresh coming out of the display, so you're fine. That's it. Oh, this one's quick. What should we talk about? Somebody give me a topic. What else have I done? Do you like that fancy little that's Cherry Bomb. I think Cherry Bomb's freaking awesome. That thing's beautiful. Phosphate 0.02. That is a drop of 0.02 for my last test. How long ago was that test, Thomas? I haven't tested any lights lately other than tested a Reef Bright after I put it back together, after I replaced the diodes with the stove. By the way, I didn't use any fancy soldering irons or hot air rework. I used my gas stove, and I heated up underneath each diode, and I just swapped them out while the solder was nice and hot. What you got, Jake? I did FPV drones for a while. We've talked about this. Solder skills are on point, so I guess I will be ordering 2 more. Why don't you order... Yeah, why don't you give it a shot? Try modifying one and see how it goes. Let me know, because you may beat me to the punch. 16 days ago. Yeah, dude, I went from 0.05... I'll get back to you, Jake. I went from 0.05, 0.06 to big fat 0, tested 3 times to confirm my 0. And it was about that same duration. Jake, try modifying a light and let me know. Post something. I think that'd be sweet. I'd love to see what you could do. I just went a little silly on the latest TSA live sale this weekend. Man. Is that one of those reef-to-reef live sales? I wish I could do that. I can't. That frustrates me, and I bet they had some really nice stuff. East Coast Reefer. I do. I sell locally, and I just got my heat packs. I was waiting on legit heat packs. I know it's summer, so I need to do a shipping study because I'm not going to ship any corals before I know that I can do it without killing them. So what I want to do is I want to stick a temp probe, a monitor in a box, and I want to see what it'll take and see what kind of temperature it'll hold for 24 hours in different configurations to make sure I'm doing it right. Last thing I want to do is have somebody pay for shipping and that shit shows up dead. I don't want to do that. So I got to learn how to do it. And so I'm not going to, I've ordered stuff online. I've got stuff online. I know how it's packed, but I need to do it myself so I can know what to do. I'm going to start with what I know, but then go from there. But yeah, if you're local to me, I'm in Maryland, hit me up. Whatever. I can always cut something, and I have stuff ready. I've got some chalice, and I have some Monty, and I sell dirt cheap. I don't say prices. But if you go find a price online, half. Estimated total system volume is somewhere around 80 gallons. Galaxia, cloves, hammer, new tank to be ready for SPS. New format was great. Was big drops once, but that's awesome. I would recommend 440, 470, 420. Exactly. Jake, that's exactly what I'm going to do. I have the 440 and the 470, and I'm waiting on the 420. So I'm just going to do those three. They seem to be the big three, and I'm just going to roll like that. East Coast, if you watch Tyrannosaurus Frags on Instagram or just me on Instagram, you'll see when I start doing some shipping. I don't know if I'm vacating this year, so might have some time. Gonzo Corals on Facebook has live sale once a month and has killer prices on coral. That's awesome. K-Dub, did you snag any of their $5 or $10 pieces? Free is pretty cheap. Free is kind of cheap, ain't it, Lynn? And I appreciate you sharing. You gave me whatever that was. That's a branching something. Cyphastria? That thing is beautiful. I can't wait for that to get big. My crab likes it too. I'm going to... right in the head. I'm right around 150 gallons. So that could explain my swing was lower. My money is on the wormwood. Yeah. That's interesting. I need to hit up... yeah... I'll ask. Welp. What would you prefer? Finn is asking, what would I prefer? T5 or LED or hybrid? I prefer LED with an LED sidekick. The way I see that is, and I posted this once, with a hybrid, like a Prius or my hybrid Civic, it's going to get you there. With a sidekick, it's going to get you there and you're going to have more fun. So what I like is you can do any light. So no matter what budget, you can do a Mars Aqua, you can do a Ocean Revive. So you could do a $100 light, $120 light, $150 light with two 470 nanometer bars attached to that thing, or one, or whatever your budget supports. So for $200 and $250, you can have a light that will absolutely grow corals and provide a pretty decent representation of AB+. So you don't have to spend a lot of money. So what I like doing is having a little nicer lights over top of my display. I've got an Ecotech Gen 4 XR30 Pro with an Orphic, because I like buying these lights so I can learn, right? I don't want to talk about them unless I've actually talking about Travis's PO4 and NO3. That's one of the rare things I'll do. I don't like talking about things unless I've tried them. Moki uses Travis's stuff, and he says it's good. Travis is Travis. That's who he is. So I'm comfortable saying that would be quality stuff. But otherwise, I don't like discussing equipment, especially equipment that I haven't tried. A lot of people will say, yeah, it's the best, and they've never tried anything else, and they have absolutely no idea what else is out there in that same class, right? So that's not me. That's not what I do. I would rather know, so I buy a lot of stuff to test, right? So like I said, over the display, XR30 Gen 4 Pro diffused with an Orphic OR2 Blue Plus. And that looks really, really nice. No shadowing, beautiful. It's over a small tank, so I'm getting a whole lot of light. That Radeon is going 100%, and there's a whole lot of light going on in that tank. Over the frag tank are two GHL Mitris LX7s, and it's just those for now. I may add, it's still a lot of par, so I might just leave it alone and let it just be the Mitris, but I do have two AliExpress bars and a Reef Bright out in the garage. I don't know what I'm going to do with them yet. I could add, I don't know what I want to do. I may add them to the Mitris just to see, just to get a little more 470. But right now, the spectrum coming out of those lights is perfect. The intensity is perfect, so maybe I'll just leave it alone. So, Finn, I hope that answers the question. What about those 425s? Any big difference than 420s? For Jake, 425 nanometers Maybe I'm not. What's up, Redneck? Maybe I'm not understanding. Sorry. Yeah, Lynn, if you haven't checked your phosphate, you probably should, because I don't know where mine went, but it's gone. 5 XR15 G4s over my 6-foot water box. Dan Ray, that's a good combination. That's super. What's Devin running? Does he have 4? He's got 4 Gen 5s, I think, over his. I don't know how wide his tank is. I've been collecting I've been collecting XR30s over the years. So I have enough XR30s to light a tank bigger than will fit in my house. And eventually I'll either sell them or I'll get a bigger tank. But what I don't want to do is get rid of lights before I should. And then I'll end up needing them. Or somebody I know will need a light and they'll be like, yo. And I'll be like, yup, gotcha. I had over 2 bars, but recently changed them with T5 actinics. Was that a good move? That's significantly less par, Dan Ray. And the OR2, if they were blue plus, I don't know. I'd stick with the OR2s because T5 actinics are pretty low, right? So that's like 450 down to around 420. I'd have to go test mine. I'm not sure I've tested them. So, Jake, no big difference between the two. If you got 420 or 425, that's good enough. Because the ramp up will happen before 425. So that's just where the top of the bell curve will be. Yeah, Dan, I'm who I am. So I'm a big fan of LEDs, and I would. You now have less par than you used to have. So unless you have a par meter and you're comfortable with the readings you're getting, you have absolutely changed your system. So, I mean, it's not going to hurt it. It's not going to make it any better, but it's not going to hurt it. So you're good. What's up, Dar Sanchez? I have the same tank as Devin. All right, so Devin, that's at first. Dan, nice tank. That's pretty sweet. I don't have that kind of fancy. And then, yeah, check. I think Devin's got 4 over his, and you said 6, so that's pretty awesome. You got a pretty good setup. Those are good lights. You know what you got. K-Dub, I tried to find G4 Pros. Now Gen 5 came out. Yeah, K-Dub, I bought a brand new Gen 4 when the Gen 5 came out at a reduced price, and the very first XR30 and XR15 that popped up on my local club forum, I bought those too. And the 15 was for a friend of mine, and I kept the 30. So I've got a couple Gen 4s. One's over the tank, one's in the garage as a spare. Yeah, Dan, do you have a par meter? You know that's where I'm going to go, right? If you have a par meter and you know what you're getting, then you're good to go. If you haven't tested par before and after, then I bet you would be surprised. It'll be interesting to see. Phosphate is at 1 point. Lynn, it appears as if your phosphate is just fine. Holy shit. Seriously? 1.63? Interested, Jake, in your take on the diffuser, because I really like what Ecotech did with their LED distribution. It's not that different than what Mars Aqua and Ocean Revive did. It's just a little different, denser. Think about that. With very similar, especially Ocean Revive, very similar spectrum. So I wonder the benefit of the diffuser with the Gen 5s. So looking forward to seeing how that goes. What's up, Brandon? They deleted the market. What? Yeah. If you can find I have 3 Gen 2s. those were, that was an improvement over an Ocean Revive. I did get different growth, but I think it put out more light too. But Gen 2s, if you're on a budget, Gen 2, Gen 3, Gen 4, any of those lights, if you can find them cheap, do it. And those Gen 4s are Mobius compatible. I think Ecotech released now the latest Mobius that can convert Gen 4s with the black chip inside, the black wireless chip. You can convert Gen 4s over the Mobius platform and manage within Mobius, which is pretty easy to do. I bet you just keep watching. KW, you keep watching. You'll find them. I think you'll be good to go. You'll eventually find them. I wouldn't want to get rid of mine. I'm pretty happy with both tanks. If you can't find, something to consider. If you can't find an Ecotech XR30, totally recommend the Mitris LX7 from GHL. If you can find those, you can buy them new, of course, or if you can find those used, like there was a recent one on the local club forum, buy it. That's a good light. It offers legitimate UV that the Ecotech does not, around 390 nanometers. It's under 400, so it's legitimate UV, and it offers just a tiny bit more par at that AB plus spectrum. Not all channels 100%. I don't know why people test lights like that. Set your lights the way you're going to use them and then measure the par. That's what I do. And the Mitris has more par than an XR30. And it's a good light. And it just sits down there and it runs and it looks nice. And the distribution of LEDs inside the 6 little pucks on that thing, no shadowing, it looks really good. Something to consider. Go look at them. Do you recommend a Hydra 32? I have used a Hydra 26. I've tested it, and the spectrum was really good for what that light was. 32s, I think Thomas is going to hook me up with a tester so I can compare the 26 and the 32. Because he also loaned me the 26, which I super appreciate. If the 32, I haven't used it, so I want it right. If the 32 is like the 26, then yes. I think it's probably a decent light. Now, pay attention to the wattage because it matters. So it depends over what size tank. All of that really matters. Castor Troy, look at my Boxes and Booze 06, and the link is in the description for the light. Yeah, Jake, I wouldn't doubt that. Especially, I mean, if everybody grabbed up the supply of those things. We could ask Lynn, if Lynn's still around, ask Lynn about her Gen 5 Blue, which was a really nice looking light. The thing was beautiful. She was awesome. The seal was unbroken, and she let me borrow that light and test it, which was amazing. That's also a good light. If you buy these high-end lights, if you buy I haven't used any Orphics. I would love to test a big Orphic. That'd be pretty interesting. But you can't go wrong with a GHL Ecotech. If you find them, stock them. Catch them used. Alley bar in 6 foot. Dan Ray. It would be pretty easy to connect 2 3-foots to make a 6 foot. If you wanted to get a little crafty, you could absolutely do it. It's totally doable. Something to consider. You can even run the wires through the first for the second light, and then just clamp them together with 2 little tiny little whatevers, something you wouldn't even see. It's totally doable. My bad. Hydra 64. What do I have here? 26? I think I have a 26, and the 26 was sweet. So, yeah, take that Hydra 64 and divide it by 2. What's a wattage on the 64? Is that a 150 watt light? Pay attention to the when you're buying lights, pay attention to the wattage. Like a 360X is a 90 watt light. which is the same as an XR15, which is the same as a Red Sea LED 90, right? So just pay attention to the wattage. That way you know what you're getting. Lynn, I asked about your blue, your Gen 5 blue, which was amazing. Thomas, 190 watt. So that is similar. Hydra 64 is similar to a Gen... Well, I don't know. It'll be interesting to see what the wattage actually is at usable spectrum. So I bet it's closer to 150, 160 watts. That'll be interesting to see. So it's sort of the Honda Accord to the Ecotech's. We'll do Toyota. So it's the Toyota Camry to the Lexus GS of Ecotech. Yeah, so that's probably a pretty sweet light. Yeah, if you can find any GHL Aqua Illumination Ecotech lights used, look at those. Seriously, look at them, because you can save a ton of money on those things. Unless you want new and a warranty, and go for that too. LED bar easily mounted in prime mounts, not just to figure out how long I should run it for. See, Michael got one. Michael knows. Knowing's half the battle. Boom. Yeah, Lynn, I agree. That blue is a beautiful light. That thing is, it's pretty. It's a nice looking light. You have not, so if you're comparing them to that Red Sea 90, AI, whatever, and a Kessel, that blue is twice the wattage of any of those other lights you had, which I think you found out the hard way. 30 watts, Jake. It's a 24-inch. So it's a 30 watt. It's the same as a... Actually, they're all the same. So Reef Bright and Orphic. They all pull right around 30. 29, I think, is the exact number. All right. Oh. It's a school night. All right. School night. Any questions about this craziness, right, huh? Don't do this. Don't do this my way. If you're going to do this... Where's my pencil? If you're going to do anything in here, do this. I think you'll be happy with the GHL. I've been super happy with the GHL. I'm happier than I expected to be with the GHL. I think it's pretty cool. Every time I make it do something, or every time I ask for help and somebody helps me do something with that thing, and it just works, I was like, this is the right way. Jake Birch. Just curious about the wattage. How did the Kessel do, Len? I haven't tested the Kessel yet, but I will. I want to compare it to the other one I have here. But I will. It's sitting downstairs. I just haven't tested lights in a bit. What's your recommendation time for running that? So, Michael, what's the light you have it with? I'm sorry. I should have asked that before. I run mine. I run the Orphic with the XR30 Pro for probably 9 hours, because I run 10 hours with an hour ramp on both sides. So it's probably 9 hours. You can run it the same duration as your other lights. If you have a par meter, which I suggest you do, even if you can rent it, even if that's available, do something. Figure it out. You have 2 primes. So it's going to put out quite a bit of par compared to 2 primes. if you have 2 AliExpress lights. LED bar. Oh, single. So, sorry. Start it running 2 hours a day. And then 4 days later, add an hour. 4 days later, add an hour. And just build it up until you have it within your full intensity primes. In that before, after the ramp up and after the ramp down. Actually, I do it this way and then this way. Do that. So, but start out with like 2 hours. And then 4 or 5 days later, add another hour. 4 or 5 days later, add another hour. And you'll acclimate your corals on up until you are within your full photo period of your AI primes. Is that cool? You can do that. If you have a timer on it, that makes it even easier. Three Hydra 64, 2 424 inch. Yeah, you have a big ass tank, Thomas. I'm looking forward to. I've been enjoying your build. Pimp yourself. Throw it out there. Throw your Instagram username on the chat so people can follow, because I've enjoyed watching your coral farm build. I think that's pretty sweet. I'm jealous. I wish I had that space. So in lieu of space, I'm just going to provide you with corals that you can then grow out and bank for me when I screw up. Deal? I think that's a good deal. All right, y'all. I think I'm going to bail. Michael, I hope that answers your question. I think you should be okay. And if you don't mind, give our brother a like and a subscribe. I really appreciate that. I can finally go live on my phone and the Insta360. That took a little while to get there. Fragile Reefer. I've been hooked on the BRS videos as of late and realized my lights were too low and causing hot spots. Now I have the right height and getting a lot of light spill. How are others handling? You're getting a lot of light spill because the lights are too high, so you can lower your lights to reduce the spill. So just use your hand on the edge of the tank, and once your spill goes away, mount your light at that height, and then manage par with the software. Yeah, Semper Fi corals, sea coral, Semper Fi sea coral, Semper Fi sea coral. Follow Thomas. Watch his build. It's pretty slick. It does, homie? Alright, cool. Look, everybody throwing their business out there. I like that. My next tank is going to be the mode 135. Jake, you're going to get Moki's tank? Stupid COVID. I don't get to go over there and hang out and look at that tank. But I did sit in his basement when COVID just started kicking up. And that thing is beautiful. I'm looking forward to seeing what he does with that build. So that'd be cool. That's a sweet tank. All right, y'all. So legit, I really appreciate you guys joining. Everybody joining. I want to say, guys, peeps. Thanks as always. You kept the chat super lively, and I appreciate that. So next week, I don't know. Sundays kind of suck. What day should I stream? Leave me comments below. Let me know. I'm thinking about going back to Saturday. Saturday can be kind of challenging. How does everybody feel about Monday? Because I can usually pull that off. Let me know what you think. Cool. Thinking about buying an RV. We'll see how that goes. All right, y'all. I hope everybody's safe. I hope everybody is enjoying their lives. I know it's a little tricky out there right now. Stay positive. Stay happy. Support each other. Hold the doors open for each other. Make eye contact and say hello. Remember, we're all people and we all have our own damn problems and we all have whatever. But in the end, we just want to be treated nicely. So think about that. Next day you're out, hold the door open for somebody. And when they say thanks, say thank you. If they don't say thanks, whatever. Hold the door for the next person. Cool? All right, y'all. Happy reefing. And as always, be kind. Thanks.